Hey everyone, my name is Tariq Brown and I'm a software engineer at Microsoft. And today we're going to go through the resume that landed me my current software engineering job. So we're just going to go through step by step, starting with my education. So I graduated from the University of Notre Dame in South Bend, Indiana. Now, Notre Dame is a fairly prestigious university, but doesn't have the most robust computer science program. Um, it was fairly challenging. I graduated with a 3.54 GPA, which for the College of Engineering is a fairly decent GPA. Just for reference, if someone has a 3.5 GPA, that means they have just about as many A's as they do B's. If someone has above a 3.5, that means in general, you could say that they have more A's than B's. But of course, once you dig farther into it, there's going to be some variance there. If you'd like me to go into my transcript, comment below and we can make a video on that. So I graduated with 3.54, and here, as you can see, the first thing I do after leading with my education is I lead with my experience. And my resume is in reverse chronological order. So the last internship I did before my current full-time job here at Microsoft was at Apple. So at Apple, I was a software engineer. I specifically worked in iOS development. I'll just erase this real quick. Specifically worked in iOS development, and on this team, I had a really great experience. I worked for a team called Claris. They're a subsidiary of Apple, and as you can see in my bullet points for this experience, which I think is really important, is I led with action words. So we're using words like led, balance. These descriptors tell your employer what exactly you did and allows them at a glance to get an idea of what your role was like and how you contributed. So you can see this sentence: led a project that implemented native iOS support for the FileMaker web authoring platform on the Claris team. So this is just an example description, and I have my timeline here. So in general, you want to be as specific as possible with exactly what you did, how you did it, and what you did. So again, be specific with exactly what you did. In this case, native iOS support. You want to be very explicit with how you did it and what you were doing. My next piece of experience here is a research fellowship. So I had the opportunity to do artificial intelligence research. This was doing essentially predicting changes in sea level. So very awesome climate change research. I did a lot of stuff with Python, a lot of stuff with Jupyter Notebooks, a lot of data science-y things. And again, sort of the same structure here is action word. What did I do? How did I do it? In this case, applied Bayesian machine learning techniques to provide probabilistic forecasts of sea levels. And also important here, make sure you mention the technologies that you're working with. So up here I mentioned JavaScript. Here I talked about GPyTorch, Pandas, NumPy, all these different Python libraries. Depending on the job that you're applying for, this may be important. And also, a lot of resume algorithms will actually scrape for these words. So including lots of key technologies in your resume is very important. Next thing I have on here is my Microsoft internship. So I just combined both of my internships here. So I actually interned at Microsoft for 2 summers. And the first summer I did the Explorer internship. And then for the second summer I was a regular SWE intern, came back with a return offer. And here again, action verb, what do you do, how'd you do it? And just making sure you're as specific as possible, that you're listing as many technologies as possible in order to help your job know exactly what you were doing. Now, people often ask me, well, what do I include aside from work experience? Let's say you have no work experience. So this is the part of my resume that I had where I had no work experience. So in college, I did undergraduate research. I would always recommend people to do undergraduate research, this is really going to help you gain that practical experience and actually complete projects from start to finish. This research was on the technical side, but it was more of a civic innovation type project. We're working in the community. I was also a TA for a semester, so TAing is always a good option for those college students, undergraduate research or TAing. And this was a special opportunity. I had to work with Google as a high school student, and this was a very special opportunity. I believe this still exists, the Google Computer Science Summer Institute. If there are any high school students watching this, if you're a high school senior or you know a high school senior, definitely have them apply to this opportunity. Leadership. So this doesn't have to be in college. This could be in your community. This could be anything that you're doing. Anytime that you've led something, I think this is something valuable to include on your resume. So at Notre Dame, I founded the Financial Literacy Club. This was a club where we taught basic financial literacy skills to all the students. And this helped me get a lot of experience to organizing a team and managing a team. And I included it on my resume because I believed it was valuable. Next, I was also president of our Questbridge chapter for first generation low income students. And then lastly, Management Leadership for Tomorrow is a fellowship program. I highly recommend, if you are a college student, look this up and try to apply for the next cohort. They're awesome. They are an 18-month professional development program, and they essentially, give you the tools you need to not only get an internship in software engineering, but also land a job. And it was really helpful. You get a great network as well. Lastly, I have my skills and courses. Now, this might be controversial, but I put this on the very bottom, mainly because I had a lot of experience at this point. So I felt my experience would speak for itself, and if necessary, they could scroll down to the bottom and see the skills and courses. Honestly, it's not going to matter too much where you put this. Just make sure you have it on there. And as with anything on your resume, do not put anything you are not confident on. Basically, if you have programming languages, your interviewer should be able to ask you about any one of these languages, and you should be able to give confident answers. And so that's also true for any technologies or any coursework you put on your resume. Anything you put on your resume is fair game, and especially the experiences. You should be able to speak to every experience. Your resume isn't just what you put on it, it's how well you understand it. So make sure you understand your resume like the back of your hand. You know exactly what you put on it. Lying on your resume can only hurt you, because if someone asks you a question about something you're not confident in or that didn't really happen, how are you going to answer it? That's just not going to work in the long term. So don't lie on your resume, and make sure you're pretty well versed in everything. And yeah, so that is the resume that I used for my current software engineering job. I hope you guys liked the video. Subscribe and comment what you'd like to see next. Peace.